All right. Well, let's just jump into our main content here. Today we are discussing deep sleepers, but first, a month ago we supplied 10 more standard sleepers and or underrated players. They were Colin Sexton, Trey Jones, Gary Trent, Alperen Şengün, Buddy Hield, Sadiq Bey, Patrick Williams, Robert Williams, who is now hurt, Lauri Markkanen, and Brandon Clark.
Well, Shannon, with that, how about you take us into our new list of sleepers now that we've experienced 4 weeks of drafting? With all that draft experience, who's your number one sleeper for today?
I love Kelly Oubre this year for Charlotte. His ADP is 128. You got LaMelo Ball injured again. You got Gordon Hayward, who always seems to deal with some kind of injury. He's 32. He's only averaged under 47 games per season since joining the Hornets. I love Oubre. He's almost overlooked how good of a fantasy option he was last season. He played 76 games for the Hornets, scored 15 points per, 4 rebounds, 1 steal, and then a career high 2.5 3-pointers. And that's really why I love him. He is going to be a monster source of 3-pointers again this year. He's not the best 3-point shooter in the world, shot under 35%, but the volume's going to be there. So if you can withstand the field goal percentage, especially if you're in a points-based league, because the efficiency across the board is an issue for Oubre. Free throws are also not great. But if you need threes late in the draft, especially in points-based leagues, I love Oubre.
I think people are going to look back and think, what were we thinking not drafting Kelly Oubre like 125 in every single draft? In preseason, he's taking 19 shots per 36 minutes. It's Kelly Oubre time. Absolutely. And no one thinks that more than Kelly Oubre himself.
Alex, take us to the sneaky rookie you've got for your sleeper pick.
Tari Eason. I don't think it's sleepy. It's not too sleepy within the fantasy community at this point if you've been reading up and stuff. But I think for most people who are not familiar, have not been locked in, you got to pay attention to Tari Eason, number 17th overall pick in the draft for the Houston Rockets. Since Summer League, Eason has been tearing it up. He was great there. People are like, let's see if it translates to preseason. It has. I think he's going to start cutting into Jayshawn Tate's minutes. He has way more upside than Tate. Tate's going to end up being a role player in the NBA. Plus, I don't think they're going to prioritize like Kenyon Martin Jr. But just to highlight,
you don't think Eric Gordon is going to be top of the development chart? What is he? 87?
Exactly. Per 36 minutes this preseason for Eason, I think he's played like 75 total minutes. So, okay sample size. 30 points, 15 rebounds, 2.5 steals, 2 threes, 1.5 assists, half a block. He's a monster. He's strong. He can hit threes. He can get to the free throw line. He's about 6'8". I'm pretty high on him this year, and I think that he's gonna bully his way into the Rockets rotation.
Yep. Totally agree.
Ken,
nice.
Who's your sleeper?
Yeah, my first sleeper tonight is Jalen Smith of the Indiana Pacers. He's got an ADP of 124 on Yahoo. He appears to have won the starting power forward gig for the Pacers, qualifies at forward and center on both Yahoo and CBS. He had 22 games with the Pacers last year after the trade. In those 22 games, Smith delivered 18 points, 9 boards, 1 block, and almost 1.5 threes over 25 minutes per game. RotoWire thinks with these rebuilding Pacers that Smith will get 27-plus minutes a game per season this year. I agree with that. I also just love a guy who can give you blocks and triples, like the good old young Rudy Gay days. This 22-year-old Smith, he's 6'10", and people forget he was the number 10 overall pick in the 2020 draft. He's on a terrible team looking for answers. The Pacers have fragile Miles Turner at center, who might be trade bait come February. Smith's competing with O'Shea Brissett at power forward, who only started 25 games last year himself. Look, come the late rounds, you want upside, improving young guys with a shot at big minutes. Jalen Smith fits that description to a T.
Miles Turner might be trade bait come 2 p.m. I think the question marks with Jalen Smith were mainly just where he's going to slot into the rotation, if he was going to be locked in the starting power forward position. There's a lot of Isaiah Jackson love. I think Isaiah Jackson's more of a 5, so he's going to be slotted behind Turner.
Shannon, take us to sleeper number 4.
Yeah, we're going to go to Minnesota. We have Jaden McDaniels, recently named starting small forward for the T-Wolves. Now, I feel like it's year 3 of Jaden McDaniels' breakout, right? This is the year, finally, right? We're there. Last year was very high in McDaniels as well. He was always one of my favorite late round or last round flyers in best ball drafts. But then you had Vanderbilt do have a little mini breakout for Minnesota last season. Vanderbilt's no longer there. And neither is Malik Beasley. This team, you have Kyle Anderson, who we know Kyle Anderson will get minutes like he has in every other team that he's played on. He carves out those minutes. But with McDaniels locked in as the starter, I think we'll see improvements from what we saw last year. It's just his age 22 season. Last year, he was 9.2 points, 4.2 rebounds, 1.5 stocks, 1.1 3-pointers. So if he can increase those 3-pointers a little bit, do a little bit more on the defensive end, which he definitely has a skill set for, and he sees 28, 29 minutes per instead of the 25.8 minutes he saw last season, there's going to be solid top 120 value to be had here.
Yeah, McDaniels, I think part of the reason a lot of people are high on McDaniels and have been waiting for that breakout campaign is he was the 7th ranked player in his recruiting class in high school.
Alex, take us to Chicago for your next sleeper pick.
Yeah, I like Ayo Dosunmu from Chicago. Just got named the starting point guard with Lonzo Ball out till probably at least January. It's not too surprising, but it's just good to get that firm confirmation because, Caruso was also in the mix, who should still play a lot. And I like Caruso as well. But as a starter last season, Dosunmu averaged basically 11 points, 5 assists, 3.5 boards, and a steal in 34.5 minutes. The efficiency was great, 52% from the field, 35% from 3, 79% from the free throw line. I don't think he's going to see 35 minutes a game this year. And, because Dragic is there, Kobe White, who I guess they still want to give minutes to, Caruso is good defensively, and Lonzo is maybe going to come back towards the end of the year, so his minutes will drop there. But, I think expecting 30 minutes from Dosunmu is fair, plus development. And I think that just makes for a pretty good value pick at 149. And we on this podcast, we always talk about breakout sophomore guards. And, his usage is only going to be so high next to Levine, DeRozan, Vucevic, but he's just a really well-rounded player who has proven to fit well within their scheme. Yeah. Ken, who's your sleeper?
This might be the dullest sleeper pick possible, yet I still like it. Dorian Finney-Smith of the Dallas Maverick. His ADP from 4 sites. He's at 145 on Underdog and Fantrax. Yet, Finney-Smith is the starting power forward for Dallas. His scoring and minutes have gradually improved over each of his past 6 seasons. The 6'7" wing played 80 games last season and delivered a steady 11 points, almost 5 rebounds, more than 1 steal, half a block, and 2.2 triples, per game, while shooting 47% from the field. Is DFS a sexy pick? Hell no. But he plays every day with steady production. Dallas has a thin depth chart. RotoWire has Finney-Smith's minutes up to 34 a game with continued growth across the board. There's a lot to be said for playing every day, draining threes, bringing 1.6 stocks a game while shooting good percentages. Plus, he coughs up only 1 turnover a game. He's ideal for 9-category roto leagues. Your draft mates will moan with boredom, but DFS steady production will make you smile.
Yeah, I view DFS very similar fashion to how my wife viewed me. Boring, reliable, not sexy. but
Steady Eddie.
Still got picks.
Must be owned. All right. I know some fans are going to moan a little or gripe that, hey, those 6 sleepers we mentioned, they're not deep enough. So let's each now nominate a player with the rank of 160 plus that could return much better value. We're saying rank because, frankly, ADP gets really messy after the first 140 players. Anyway, Shannon, you start with the youth movement.
This guy's almost at 160. Average ADP across the sites we track is 157. Jalen Duren, rookie big man for the Pistons. Unbiased pick, obviously. But one of the main reasons why I like Duren is just what we've seen this preseason. He's dominating the boards. As mentioned at the top of the show, Marvin Bagley is out for the next 3 to 4 weeks. That's going to open up minutes. And Nerlens Noel also is sidelined right now. He's not playing yet. He's got to work on his conditioning before he can even start logging any kind of minutes.
Yep.
Yeah. And with that means you have Isaiah Stewart and Duren are the only 2 healthy big men centers for the Pistons at the start of the year. And then we had an encouraging comment from Dwayne Casey this week where he mentioned that the team is not a championship contender and was quoted as saying 2 rookies will play big minutes this season. Duren is the second rookie. And getting that kind of comment from the coach is very encouraging. Duren's going to struggle. His free throw percentage is probably going to be a worry. Field goal percentage should be strong. But rebounds and potential for very good block numbers, even if he's only playing 18 to 22 minutes per game for deep leagues, I think he's a guy that you could target. Might end up being more of a stash. It's going to be inconsistent at the beginning of the year, but I do also believe his minutes are going to pick up and his role in production will as well as the season moves on.
Okay, then. Alex, take us to Memphis.
Santi Aldama from the Grizzlies, ADP of about 159 right now. Everyone thought Brandon Clark or even Jake LaRavia was going to get the start in Memphis with Jaren Jackson out for a few months, but it's looking like it's going to be Aldama. He's 6'11", 21 and 10, double in college. Was good in preseason, was good in summer league this year. Was good in summer league last year. He's 21 years old, a lot of upside. I thought he was more of a center, but he can hit some threes. So they can play him next to Steven Adams, and it can work. He'll get you threes. He'll get you block shots. This preseason, per 36 minutes, 17 points on 58% from the field, 10 boards, 2.5 assists, 1.7 threes, 1.7 blocks. Even if he only plays 25 minutes a game, I think he'll be worth drafting in standard leagues, at least for the upside. And there are going to be a lot of matchups where they want a floor spacing 5 out there. And Aldama, Brandon Clark doesn't space the floor. So I think he'll back his way into a lot of minutes this year. Ken, who's your deep sleeper?
This might even be duller than Finney-Smith. Grayson Allen of your Milwaukee Bucks. He's got a rank of 186. He's free. Allen is starting for Milwaukee at shooting guard. Any starter should be on your radar. The Bucks haven't changed their wing reserves. Allen is still battling Pat Connaughton and 36-year-old Wesley Matthews for minutes. Chris Middleton's coming off wrist surgery and is no lock to play 70-plus games. Allen's catch-and-shoot abilities add much-needed outside shooting for Milwaukee's arsenal. Over the first 30 games of last season, Allen posted 13 points, over 3.5 boards, 3 made threes, and 1.2 stocks per game. Let's say you start your draft with Giannis and Sabonis. If so, you'll need cheap threes later, and it doesn't get any cheaper than Grayson Allen.
Try RotoWire today, free for 10 days. Get our premium tools, rankings, analysis, and breaking news alerts. No credit card required. Go to rotowire.com/try.